Hello and welcome to another Smaulgld live stream. It is the 5th of June, Wednesday, 2019. Tonight's topic, Bitcoin deflates despite continued pumping. We're going to talk about some price movement in Bitcoin, something we don't normally do. If you notice, we focused on what happens in the Bitcoin market and what's going on with the adoption, what's going on with any innovations or deals, new exchanges, regulatory, and so on. But the price action deserves commenting on. And if you want to join in the conversation, for those of you who are new to this channel, we pretty much have the same people each and every night, which is a good thing, as Bernie would say. But if you're new, the way we handle the comments are, if you want your comment called out, type in SMAULGLD. It'll be highlighted, and we'll get to it at the end of the program, or at least the program of the part where I talk about what happened during the day or during the week, whatever the topic may be. And then many people just continue carrying on in the comment sections, and they don't necessarily want their comments called out. Okay, so let's talk first before we get into the Bitcoin price scene. There's some news on the Mueller investigation and Christopher Steele. Briefly, Christopher Steele, who is the author of the dossier which bears his name, i.e. the Steele dossier, it has come to many people's attention that perhaps his work, or his intelligence work, not only was paid for by the Hillary Clinton campaign, but was unverified, salacious, and did form the bulk of, if not the sole portion, of the FISA warrants, which require the people who sign off on the FISA warrants to say that they are verified. And the only other information that appears to be in those FISA warrants are press reports, but the press reports apparently came from Christopher Steele, who fed them the press information that was in the Steele dossier, so it's kind of a circular type of information, and therefore the Steele dossier appears to be the centerpiece of the basis to get the FISA warrant. Now, why do they want to talk to Christopher Steele? Well, they already know that he has said that under oath in England that the document that he produced was not verified. He could not swear by it, and that's not why they want to talk to him. I think what they want to talk to him about is to set up the case, and I think this would be Durham speaking to him, the attorney that Barr appointed to look into the origins of the FISA warrants. Now, Horowitz is the Inspector General. He probably can't talk to Christopher Steele, because what the Inspector General does is looks at things that occur in the department, and his powers do not extend beyond the department. In fact, they don't even extend to former employees. So if someone left the department, Horowitz really can't talk to those people, whereas a guy like Durham, he has subpoena power and he can get people to talk to him. Now, why do they want to talk to Christopher Steele? Well, I think what they're trying to do is to build the case. Not that his work product was faulty. I think they can somewhat prove that. But what were his contacts, and who was he speaking to? When was he speaking to them? What was he speaking to them about? And did they know that the contents of what he had produced wasn't true? Now, he's not going to say, and I handed it over and I said, this is a bunch of BS. But the question is, was he interviewed and cross-examined, so to speak? I don't mean in a legal sense with an attorney, but I mean when he handed over the dossier, how did he hand it over? What questioning did he receive from the people who ultimately used it? And if the answers to those are they really didn't, it was just channeled through in the ordinary course, well then, not necessarily Steele has a problem, but the FBI agents who, Comey and the like, who signed the FISA warrant, they have a problem, because it's more indication that they essentially just took non-FBI work product, and I don't even think it is Five Eyes work product. In fact, a lot of the information comes from Russia, and it's paid for by Hillary Clinton. It's looking more like that they just took Hillary Clinton or DNC opposition research and used it as the basis for the FISA warrant, which again, could be okay if, just because it comes from the Democratic Party, yes, that needs to be noted, or just because it comes from the Hillary Clinton campaign, yes, that needs to be noted, doesn't mean that the information contained therein might not have at least a kernel of truth in it. The question is, how much truth, if at all? And I think that's the purpose of speaking with Christopher Steele. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now, yesterday we talked about what happened with gold. And 2 days ago, on Monday, the gold price and the silver price both gained about 1.5 points, which is a nice gain. And that was on the back of St. Louis Fed President Bullard saying, yeah, we might have to cut interest rates. And then yesterday, we had pretty much little movement, a little up in gold and not much at all in silver, on the basis of Jerome Powell saying, well, yeah, we're going to have to do what we need to do if there's tariff issues to keep the economy going. And many people took that as a sign that the Fed was going to cut rates, even though Powell didn't say he was going to cut rates. People took that as a sign that the Fed might cut rates, and so it was off to the races. The Dow Jones yesterday was up about 400 some odd points. Today, the Dow Jones was also up about 207 points. NASDAQ recovered. S&P was also up about almost 1%. But gold and silver did not rise. Now, we thought that maybe they might rise today on the basis of kind of a delayed effect on 2 days worth of Fed jawboning in a very dovish fashion. Well, today a little cold water was thrown on the Dove party, but let me show you who spoke today. And so gold and silver, we're going to pull up the gold and silver charts. Silver went down today, gold went up, which is not a good sign for silver, obviously, not just because it went down, because it really, in order for that gold-silver ratio, the unsustainable gold-silver ratio, to start to close, it has to move higher with gold, at least for a while, and then it has to exceed gold higher as gold goes higher. But so far, that's not happening. Gold price today up $7. Now, it was up to $13.44. There was a point during the day I was thinking, we talked about yesterday, it might get to that $13.50, $13.65, $13.75 mark, and then you might get a breakout, because we've tested that 4 or 5 times since 2013. Haven't been able to breach that and hold something above that. And today it looked like it got stopped in its tracks at $13.44 and fell down. Closed the day at $13.32, and you'll see silver also had a bit of a spike, but it fell harder, and that's typical. In the normal market, gold will perform better than silver, will rise slowly. Silver might follow it, but if gold gets hit, silver gets hit harder, and that's why you have this high gold-silver ratio. It's only when gold starts to really take off, in the last 40, 50 years, we've seen it twice, that silver actually outperformed gold. That was 1979-80, when gold hit 800. Silver went up to 50, in large part because of the Hunts brothers. And then in 2010 and 11, when gold went all the way up to $1,911, silver also raced up to $50. But in the aftermath of that spike, there was a tremendous dive, and gold really has held off. I mean, gold, okay, it's not at 1911, right? Because right now it's at 1330, let's say 38. That is a drop of about 30%, but the silver drop is about 65%. And that's why you have that high gold-silver ratio. Let's take a look at the gold-silver ratio. And I'm going to show you a comment that was made by Fed President Kaplan that I think caused it, but could just be the normal course of smacking down gold and silver when they start to make a move. But here's the unsustainable, out-of-whack gold-silver ratio, and it is 89.91. This is the second day in a row where it's breached the 90-to-1. Hasn't closed above 90-to-1, but it seems to be only a matter of time that it'll drift higher. And you'll hear the silver pumpers, unsustainable, you gotta buy now, never before in history. Now, ever since, you got to remember, the other times that when silver was, the gold-silver ratio was this high, gold from 1934 to 1974, the price was set at $35. So that prevented the gold-silver ratio from going higher. You did have a low gold-silver ratio as a result of that in the 60s. It got down almost to 16 to 1. But when you hear this nonsense that the historic ratio is 16 to 1, wrong goes Star. It was only 16 to 1 because it wasn't free. I heard Mike Maloney say the other day, free market 16 to 1. Wrong. The free market did not set the gold-silver ratio at 16 to 1. If you go back and you look at the U.S. Mint Acts, they set it first at 15 to 1 and then 16 to 1. And when the bimetallic standard went away, then the free market took over and the gold-silver ratio rose. But then the unfree market took over because gold was set at $20.67, stayed there until 1934 when it was set at $35 an ounce. It's only been since 1974 when Americans were then allowed again to own gold, when Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard, the $35 an ounce redeemable dollar gold standard in 1971. Ever since then, you haven't come close to 16 to 1. The quote free market, or at least the COMEX discoverable market, has favored gold on average about 65 to 1 ever since then. There is no there is no bimetallic standard. There is no monetary or real significant monetary investment demand for silver. While even though Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard, central banks still have gold. It is a favored investment product amongst many investors, investment metal. Silver is not. And you can point to only about 5 years from 2008 to 2013, 14, and 15, maybe 7 years, where there was investment silver demand in the United States. And even then, Silver Eagles made up about, at their peak, 8% of overall silver demand, even in that record year of 2015, when over 47 million were sold. Contrast that to gold. Gold globally, India, China, is a very, very big seller, not just in terms of jewelry, but also in terms of investment. And their jewelry is often considered an investment, gold jewelry. Silver jewelry, we had Ferrando Ortega on from Mexico, big silver producer, largest silver producer in the world is Mexico. He said silver is a throwaway metal in Mexico. You have an old ring or you have an old silver necklace, might be worth a few pesos. It might be worth, $12, $13. It's not an investment in the same way that a gold chain of the same type might be worth a few $100s. All right, well, that's where we are with gold and silver, and we'll see if the Fed keeps yakking what's going to happen. The trade wars, you would think, would cause a bit more of a pop in the precious metals, but again, if you do get that pop, I'm going to guess, we'll see what you guys think, that it's going to be in gold, not silver. Go over to the demand, the largest driver of silver demand. Well, it's electronics. That's the number one industrial application, followed by solar. Well, in the last 10 years, the silver demand for electronics is down from about 310 million ounces annually to 240 million ounces annually. So even though you've got more electronics, you've got less silver demand. And then even though we're having what you might consider explosive demand in solar, they're learning a lot of thrifting techniques, so you might have doubled the amount of solar panel installations in a given year for the last 7 years. The amount of silver used is only up about 10-15%, and you're still under 100 million ounces a year in that particular area. So if silver's going to get a bid, and the silver people don't understand this, it's got to be, or at least the way things are right now, it's not going to come from commodity. It's not going to come from industry. It's probably not going to come from a surge in jewelry or silverware demand. It's going to come from the investment demand that isn't really there right now. And that investment demand can come if gold starts to take off and takes off in a significant manner. So if gold tops 1,400, I think you'll start to see silver move higher and probably outperform gold once gold starts moving and consistently moving higher than 1400. Until then, you're going to see the gold silver ratio probably drift higher. None of this is investment advice. It's just what I see happening and have been seeing happening. Some people would say, who are old enough to know what a broken record means, like, I've been talking about this for 3 or 4 years, and the silver pumpers keep insisting, who is this guy? He's wrong. He doesn't understand silver. I think I do. All right, let's move on from that, and let's take a look now at... we're not going to cover all the crypto stories. We don't have time tonight, but I do want to talk about some of the price issues that have been happening, but not so much. I mean, to me, the price, let me just show you what Kaplan said today. Yeah, never mind. I read it. Fred Kaplan says it's too early to judge the need for a rate cut. And pretty soon after that, that's where I put the point of the chart there. He said that in the late morning, you can see that just basically killed. I think that was the impetus to kill the gold rally. Could have been just coincidence, but I think people were pricing in a rate cut. And Kaplan saying maybe it's too early. Oh, there's a couple other quick gold stories before we get into crypto pricing. Venezuela, Morero. Uh-oh. Well, it's nice to have gold, and gold is great for collateral, and gold is great for insurance, and gold is great for hedges. But at some point, if the reason you had gold was insurance or a hedge, you got to use it. Well, Madero had, I think he had done a loan type agreement with Deutsche Bank, put up the gold as collateral, and oops, they can't pay. So if you can't pay, Deutsche Bank gets the gold. Now, Deutsche Bank's got its own liquidity problems, don't they? I wonder what they're going to do with that gold. You think they're going to store it? I doubt it. They're probably going to dump it. I don't think it's going to have a big impact on the... And the gold market is very big and very liquid. I don't think people realize that. That's why I scoff and they say central banks are buying gold. They are buying it hand over fist. Not really, not compared to the amount of gold that's out there. And a lot of it's Russian. 80-90% of the central bank gold buying is Russian, and it comes from their own mines. So if Deutsche Bank wants to dump this gold, it's not going to impact the price, I don't think, at all. And it's not even going to help Deutsche Bank. It's only, I don't even know how much it is, $750 million. I think that's the swap value. I don't think that's the collateral value, but we'll check that. But again, $750 million, a big chunk of change, and it basically means probably Madero is out. One other important thing, this is just to put on your radar. It's not breaking news, but this woman here, Judy Shelton. Now remember, they had Herman Cain. I forgot the name. Moore, I think, was the other guy. Both of those are considered to be Fed board nominees by Trump, and Herman Cain was in favor of some type of gold standard. Moore was in favor of some type of commodity standard, which would include gold. This particular woman here, she sounds like she's more in favor of a classical gold standard. Countries should tie their currencies to gold. Nah, that's never going to happen. That's different than running your own monetary policy on the basis of the price of gold and letting interest rates float that way. She's actually proposing something. She wants everyone to get down onto Mar-a-Lago and have, I guess, Bretton Woods 2 or Mar-a-Lago 1 and hammer out a reset, sounds like. Now, the only country that can actually make that happen would be the United States. This nonsense that China is going to reset the price of gold because they have the gold and who makes the gold rules. China's a mess. That's the last thing they're going to do. The only way you're ever going to get a gold standard is if the United States decides somehow it's in its best interest to do that. So keep an eye on this woman, Judy Shelton. All right, let's get into these crypto, not the crypto stories, just the stuff about price and pumping and so on. First, I want to focus on, I don't want to pick on, but there's a guy named Pompliano, and he's a big proponent of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin especially. He's always saying long Bitcoin, short the bankers, and then he talks about how institutions and banks are going to boost Bitcoin. It's a bit of a, I don't know if it's cognitive dissonance, but the other day he put out a tweet, And he said, let me see if I even have the original tweet. I have my responses to it. It was something along the lines that Russia and China have more crypto freedom than we have here in the U.S. Let that sink in. And I'm thinking, what is he talking about? Russia and China. Yeah, here it is. People residing in Russia and China have more freedoms than Americans when it comes to investing in crypto assets. Think about that for a second. Now, I thought about that for a second. If you live in China, you might remember, like a year or two ago, this news. China's Bitcoin exchanges receive shutdown orders and closure. So, you can't, as an average Chinese person, buy cryptocurrencies at an exchange. How is that more crypto freedom than you have in the U.S.? Now, I had many examples. I didn't respond to any of this here. China bans crypto exchanges. Crypto freedom. There you go. Ban complete. China blocks foreign crypto exchanges. It's unbelievable to even think that China has more. They have no more crypto freedoms. They have no more any freedoms than they have in the U.S. But this is what happens when you get upset that you don't have the freedoms that you want in America. So, for example, maybe there's a little spying in the United States, and then you say this is worse than a concentration camp. No, it's not. It may be bad, but it doesn't make it worse. It's the same here. Yes, the United States has onerous rules on cryptocurrencies. They have know your customer, anti-money laundering. But does that mean that it's worse than China? No. Does that mean we are banned from using crypto exchanges? No. In fact, not only can you buy cryptocurrencies at crypto exchanges in the United States, you can go into your grocery store and buy cryptocurrencies. You can't do that in China. You can't do that anywhere in China. There's 3,100 Bitcoin ATMs. There's 2,200 Coinstar machines. You can get those. Now, how many do they have of those in China? 0. They only have 60 Bitcoin ATMs in Russia. But Russia's not a big fan of cryptocurrencies either. I say here, amazing how many so-called libertarians and free marketers, gold and Bitcoin pumpers tend to give China a pass and trash the U.S. So whatever, and this is, China holds 1 million Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps. And they have the audacity to say the United States is going down because they've got a lot of debt. China's got 10 times more debt. Or China's freer economically. No, they're not. This now with Pompliano, they've got more Bitcoin freedom. I don't think they don't have more freedom at all anywhere. All right, but let's look now at here. You didn't respond to any of this. How many exchanges operating U.S. has many exchanges operating accessible to U.S. retail investors. You just name them. He should know this. There's Gemini, there's Poloniex, there's Coinbase, there's Abra. People can invest in his funds. They can invest in stable coins. They can invest in grayscale funds. The U.S. has more than half the world's Bitcoin ATMs. There's 3,100 in the U.S. Russia has 60, China none. It's just false to say Russia and China have more access. Now, in Russia, Russia, the central banks say this. For Putin, crypto is for criminals, and this central banker denounces cryptocurrency. But it's not just the public statements they make in Russia about cryptocurrencies. You're not allowed even to spend cryptocurrencies as a medium of exchange in Russia. Yeah, Russia moves to block cryptocurrency exchanges. The U.S. is looking to regulate them, and I understand people don't like excessive regulation. It's anti-American. It's anti-free market. Yeah, but that doesn't mean whatever the U.S. does is worse than Russia and China. I mean, here, in Russia, you cannot. There was a story here about proposed legislation, but this is a central banker saying both the Constitution and current financial system legislation in Russia categorically prohibit using cryptocurrencies as a means of payment. You can use cryptocurrency as a means of payment in the United States. I don't know where he comes up with this. What was the statement again? people residing in Russia and China have more freedoms than Americans when it comes to investing in crypto assets. Think about that for a second. Yeah, let that sink in. That's just fake. That's you see, gold and silver pumpers, they get afflicted with, the gold pumpers do it with China too. All of a sudden, China is smart and they have no debt and they have freedom because they like gold. No. That doesn't change the fact. That doesn't make the United States bad. But Chinese are smart. Sun Tzu. You hear that all the time. All right, let's move on from that. Let's get into the pricing. And we'll see what you guys are saying. So my point now is the price of Bitcoin went up to 88, almost 90. It did go to $9,100. Then it crashed down to, I don't know where it went to. It went to about 74.80. Right now it's at about 77.64, and it had gone up to almost 8,000 today. But you still see all these. Nothing has changed. The price goes down, and some people are saying it's a function of a whale selling and then buying it back. Who knows? Some people say the price went up because it's China. I just think it's a volatile market. A lot of stuff goes on. A lot of manipulation goes on. But the easiest way to manipulate is you put in a big sell order. If you have cryptocurrency, if you're a whale, you could put in a big sell order, drive the price down, then you buy the bulk of it up at a lower price, and then you get more Bitcoin and you make a profit. That's probably what's going on. I don't know, but I do know it's volatile, and you can't. But then you get, in addition, we're going to take a look at some pricing, but then you get people trying to tell you it's a store of value. Basically, what you're hearing about gold and Bitcoin and silver, people who pump it, it's everything. It's everything. It's a store of value. It's a non-correlative asset. It's a risk asset. It's a risk-off asset. It's everything. It's set to skyrocket. And it's starting to disturb me that all the... you cannot get good analysis because they're all just pumping stuff. Look at this. All Tucker and McAfee, $1 million. McAfee says it'd be irresponsible not to own Bitcoin. People are climbing aboard in droves. Yes. And central banks are buying gold hand over fist. We saw last night. Investors are stampeding into gold. No, they're not. Okay. Here you go. What's this one? Analysts say. They just throw these numbers out. So Bitcoin just a couple of days ago breaks 9,000. So that means it's going to 18,700, says analyst. And they pump this stuff. But I don't know where that little blurb came from. But here you go. Wall Street Journal. They're in the act. 50,000. Why not? Sure. Could Bitcoin hit 50,000 in wild world of crypto options? Some say yes. Ultra bullish trades in Bitcoin options follow recent rebound in digital currency. That's not a pump. I mean, that's outrageous. I'm not saying it's impossible to happen. To make a story about an asset, any asset, going up sevenfold, I don't know. It's just a lot of pumping going on here. No, but not just that. But you see, Bitcoin is a safety trade. How is it a safety trade? You can say it's speculative. I have no problem saying it's speculative. If it goes to 50,000, that's speculative. But here, it's a safety trade. It says crypto bear Peter Bokvar. Okay, so it's the increasingly volatile stock market provides few hideouts, but one of them appears to be Bitcoin. How? It was $9,000 a few days ago, and now it's $7,500, $7,800. How is that providing a safe haven from the volatility? Yeah, there you go. Chinese trade war, Bitcoin 20,000. Why not? I mean, it's in CCN. It might as well. Analyst says it. Could go to 20,000. I'm not saying that these things can't happen, but they throw this stuff around as if there's as many stories saying it's going to go to 1 million, 50,000, 20,000. There's others saying it's a store of value and it's a safe haven. Here's another safe haven article. This is in Russia Today. Are cryptocurrencies the world's new safe haven amid U.S.-China trade war? It's not a safe haven if Chinese rich individuals are buying it so they can remove money from China. That's not a safe haven. That's an exit strategy. But anyway, this is what you're seeing here. You're seeing that Bitcoin is everything. It's a safe haven. It's a store of value. It's a speculative asset. It's digital gold. Yeah. Let's see if we got anything else here. Now, who could forget Ethereum? Why not? Will Ethereum surge back to 1,000? Experts weigh in. I think Ethereum is now at about $250. So the pumping goes on across all assets, whether it's gold or silver or Bitcoin or Litecoin or Tesla. I mean, all these coins are, all these assets are so subject to pumping. Here's another one. Analytic firm rate Bitcoin. Yeah, it's king of the asset class hill. I like that. And the rationale is it's gone up for 4 months. Oh, okay. So now it's king of the asset class hill. Well, if you look at it the last 3 days, it's not. It's a safe haven. No, it's not. Store of value. No, it's not. It had a speculative drop. That's what happened. Why did it happen? People speculate as to why that happened. They don't even know. Was it some whale transferred a lot of Bitcoin over to Coinbase? Was it some Chinese oligarch? Who knows why this stuff happens? But people can insist in their ignorance that they know why it happened. They know where things are going. Here's another one, last one. In the Independent, they got to get it on the act. Bitcoin price analyst predicts new record highs before 2020. Okay. Many crypto analysts have renewed their price targets following Bitcoin's recent crash, with some prominent figures predicting it will still hit record highs again. All right, well, let's see what you guys are saying in the comments about all this. But I remain amused at the level. And then you have I didn't even go into it tonight, the bashing of Bitcoin that goes on. Price goes down. I think I saw a couple of gold bulls. The price of Bitcoin went down for a couple of days and gold went up, and all of a sudden there's some correlation. The smart money is moving into gold and no, it's not. The gold went up for a couple of days and Bitcoin went down a couple of days. There's not a long-term correlation there at all. All right, let's see what we got in the comments here. I'm going to put up the Smaulgld fundraising page. You guys are familiar seeing that. We do want to thank people who are contributing. It does help keep the site going. You can donate via Bitcoin, Litecoin, PayPal, Patreon. You can become a Patreon. You can become a Smaulgld Mug Club on Subscribestar. By the way, I do need help on Subscribestar. You need 5 members in order to withdraw any of the money. Now, I have 3 very solid members in the Subscribestar. They've been there for a few months. And there's a minimum. I think you need to get to $100. I don't think that'll be a problem after a month or so. But you also have to have 5 Subscribestar members. See, this is another reason why Bitcoin and Litecoin cryptocurrencies have an advantage. There's no fee. They don't take the money out. They don't withhold it. They don't wait till you get to a certain amount. If you want to send me $5, you send $5 via Bitcoin or Litecoin. If it goes to PayPal or Patreon or Subscribestar, there's fees involved. There's a potential that they don't ever send it to you. There's a potential they kick you off the system. That's what turned me. I'm not a big fan of cryptocurrencies the way some people think, because I cover it, that I'm pumping it. No, I see what's going on, and I do see that advantage. That there was a story. We'll cover it on Friday. But remember when India just demonetized its money? They said that money in your pocket, the currency in your pocket, those rupees, they're not worth anything. You got to turn them in. That's what made me realize that. I said, well, what do you need cryptocurrencies for? The money in your pocket's just as good. Your debit card's just as good. Well, then I realized that drove home to me that one of the largest countries in the world can say, yeah, no, it's not. They had control over the currency. Well, Canada, I think, just passed a law. It says they can redeem their notes too. No. Those Canadian. In fact, I have Canadian currency. I picked up a while back, maybe 10, 15 years ago. I had a lot of trouble trying to turn them in. I had to go to a Canadian bank in the United States. It wasn't much. It was like $20, $30. But that's an issue. The money has a life expectancy if the government so deems it. I've heard stories of people in Sweden with krona. There was a story of a grandmother. She had Swedish krona, probably from the 40s and 50s and 60s. She'd just been saving in a cigar box or shoe box. She brought it to the bank, wanted to get new notes, and she wanted to deposit. I don't know what she wanted to do. And they said, no. One, the money was too old, and two, they didn't know where she got it from. So again, you have a central issuer who can ask questions, can take away the value of your money, which cannot happen with Bitcoin or Litecoin. Well, I hope that little spiel will get somebody to, or two people, to pony up to Subscribestar or to test out how easy it is to send value via Bitcoin or Litecoin. You can hold up your phone, if you have a Litecoin or Bitcoin wallet, to the QR code and send the amount that you'd like. But thank you very much. So let's see what all of our Smaulgld mug stackers and game changers are saying tonight in the comments. All right, here we go. Pablo is here. Hello, Small. Seth Shepard is here. Seth says he bought Bitcoin last night. Well, that's nice. I mean, I'm not advising anyone to buy. I don't give investment advice to buy gold, silver. Although if you're going to buy gold and silver, I have no problem with you buying it through the affiliate links on the Smaulgld site because I do get a small commission. But you do what you want. And I don't think that... my opinion is that gold has the least risk in all this. I think you can lose all your money in cryptocurrencies. You can lose a good amount in silver too. And who knows? Gold can become obsolete. Silver can become obsolete. Cryptocurrencies can get just decimated. Actually, decimated isn't really a bad thing. We think of something being decimated as like wiped out. It's not. It actually comes from like a Roman concept where they get rid of 1 in every 10 person to kind of thin out the ranks. Let's get it, 10. But in any event, it could get destroyed. Wrecked is the word today, R-E-K-T. You can get wrecked in all this stuff. That's why I analyze it. People think that I should be pumping it, or people think I am pumping. I'm not. I'm analyzing what's going on in these markets. That's what I find interesting. Not advising people to run out and buy any of this stuff. Where's Barry? Smaulgld. Pumpers can be right every now and then, right? Absolutely. But being wrong is not very helpful when you're a pumper. I mean, I think you look like a moron. You're out there just pumping for the sake of pumping or bashing for the sake of bashing. We have people on this channel. I'm talking about, I'm not even promoting it. I was just saying Litecoin is $22. Okay. And they say, you're going to ruin your reputation talking about this crap. It's going to go to zero. Then it went to $120. Now, I didn't stake my reputation on it going higher or lower. But people just like to bash certain assets just like they like to promote. There's bashers and pumpers. There's not really analysis. Gold chains can be worth thousands even in gold-producing countries. That's right, Pablo. All right, what else we got? Seth, great point, Lewis. People always hating on U.S. I think what it is, Seth, is if people are in love with an asset, then they're more in love. If they think China is in favor of gold, well, then they're more in favor of China than they are the U.S. because China is smart. They like gold. Then they start attributing all these attributes. That's what attribution is. Attributing attributes to China because they're smart. Now all of a sudden they're smart. They read Sun Tzu. They like gold. Liking gold doesn't make you smart. There's plenty of smart people who don't like gold at all. There's plenty of morons who like gold too. I mean, it's a dumb thing to say that someone is smart. Most people think if you agree with them, or you say something they agree with, then they think you're smart. That's kind of dumb, but that's the way people think. So, of course, if they fall in love with an asset, they're going to think that the silver pump, if you love silver, you're going to think a silver pumper is a brilliant person. And if someone says something against silver that's factually correct, you're going to say, well, that's stupid. He doesn't understand silver. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We got Ann is here. Max Strong. Got a big crowd here, but got any questions or comments? Roger. Smaulgld. Gold spiked an all-time high, 1920 AUD. Oh, yeah, in Australian. I did cover that the other day, I believe. I showed that chart. That in Australian dollars, yes. And also in, there's another currency, Venezuela. And there was one more. Argentina, yes. Gold prices are at all-time highs there as well. Yeah. But then other assets, too, are at all-time highs in a lot of these currencies. The dollar is strong. That's what prevents your gold and silver from rising. Max says no place to go but Smaulgld mugs. Bingo star. That is absolutely right. Philip is here. Rad. Says speculate with money you can lose. Silverback cryptos. Max, you need to get myself one of those mugs. Well, you can do it right now. Just go to smaulgld.com. I'll ship it out tomorrow. We've got classic. Yep, I got both classic and super classic. The classic one is the one on the right of your screen. The super classic has the red interior and the red handle. Shipping in the continental U.S. is, quote, free. It's included in your price. It's 2-day shipping. Comes with $50 insurance. I send it the next day. You get it in 2 days. $19.99 for the classic. $23.99 for the super classic. And you can pay with Bitcoin or Litecoin if you want to. If you don't, you can just, there's a link on the site. You can click on it. It goes to PayPal, and you can pay that way. And you'll have your mug by the week, most likely by the weekend. Yep, depending on the post. But then you get it. I send you a tracking. I send you, those of you who know that I do this, those of you who've bought mugs before, is as soon as your order comes in, I give you, unless I'm sleeping, I send you a confirmation that I received your order. And then when I go to the post office, I write back to you and say, here's your tracking number. And then you get your mug. All right. What else do we have? Anything else? I have to turn it over to Bernie. Am I going to turn it over to Bernie? Lewis, did you see Mike Maloney's new video pumping the GSR? Yeah, I did. I mean, he's not going to give it up. He's going to say, I mean, I actually commented on his Twitter feed. I said, you know, his information is, those videos he does are pretty good. He talks about stuff. And his service, goldsilver.com, it's good company as far as I know. But these predictions are just, I said they get an F. I mean, he had to buy a home, single-family home with 500 ounces of silver, probably no later than 2015. Maybe even 200 ounces. Like, get the hell out of here. Yeah, I did see that. Chicago Electric Bike. What do you think of JP Morgan coin or Facebook coin? Oh, let's see. We got time. I think that the JP Morgan coin is going to be used. They're both stable coins. They're going to be based on, JP Morgan's already said it's going to be based on their cash balance. The problem with all stable coins is, why wouldn't you just have the cash? Because the cash would be FDIC. But the reason is Coinbase has it, Gemini has it. They have these dollar coins, which JP Morgan's going to have. It's really to use within the system. It's actually convenient for the exchanges in JP Morgan to issue these coins so they don't have to convert your sale. So you sell Apple stock at JP Morgan or bonds, whatever you're doing with JP Morgan. Instead of them then converting it into cash into your account and keeping your cash account, they just flip you a few JP Morgan coins that represent the value of your trade. So you sell $40,000 worth of Apple, whatever the number is, they give you $40,000 JP Morgan coins, and you should be happy you have them because they're backed by JP Morgan's cash position. But they themselves are not FDIC backed. Okay. I think it's good for JP Morgan. I don't think it's of any value to anyone else, but it may lead to some efficiencies in trading, maybe cut down your settlement time. Could be, I think, when you trade like on stock trades, you don't really have access to the money for 4 or 5 days. Maybe when you trade $40,000 worth of Apple stock, you get 40,000 JP Morgan coins that can be immediately used to do whatever. Now, the Facebook coin is similar, except the Facebook coin is meant to be used as a payment coin across the globe. It's like a global coin, and it's meant to be used as payments. So I guess you'd load up your Facebook wallet with $200-$300, and then you can spend it across the web. Problem I have with the Facebook coin, more so than the JP Morgan coin, because if you trade with JP Morgan, whether that's a good thing to do or not, you might as well have the most efficient way of settling your transactions. And if you trust JP Morgan, you're working with JP Morgan, then that's what you're going to do. But Facebook, I don't think I'd ever buy $300 worth of Facebook coins to spend, because if they kick people off the platform for saying stuff, or, I mean, who's to say they're not going to deactivate your wallet? Who's to say they're not going to just seize your money or freeze your money, or maybe let you spend your last $300 until you can't come back again. And meanwhile, let's say you have automatic payments set up through Facebook Coin with 4 different vendors, and now they're going to be like, where's the money? Facebook cut me off. That's what I don't like. That, again, that's the advantage of Bitcoin and Litecoin. No one can cut you off. I mean, a government could try to cut you off. They'd have to cut off your internet service. They'd have to take your cell phone away. They could prevent you. They can try. But Facebook can cut you off in a second. They can just say, oh, let's find the Smaulgld account, and there it is. There's $300 in it. No, there isn't. Or we're going to hold your $300 for 90 days, and now you're kicked off the system. I think it's a big, big threat of the Facebook coin for anyone who want to buy it. And again, there's other means of payment, so why would you use the Facebook coin? Yeah, Rad is right. And your comment, Rad, did not take because you used an expletive beginning with an S, ending in T, with HI in the middle. But you're right. It's stablecoin is basically, it's fiat. You're right. Without even the, he says, with the additional counterparty risk, right? And without even the FDIC backing or the ability for you to hold it in your hand. So I'm not quite sure what the, I understand that if you're on Gemini or on Binance or Coinbase and you're trading back and forth and they want you to use a stable coin and you trust the platform and it makes things faster, okay. Now I know that Coinbase, I believe, has made it possible now that, and this is an advantage. I think they have a Visa card. You can use it in the UK. Let's say you have Bitcoin, Litecoin, BAT, all the stuff that they have, and you sell some of it, and it doesn't go into your dollar account. It goes into their stable coin, but you got this Visa card. So when you go out, you can spend all the cryptocurrencies, and the payment processor will convert them into fiat and send them to the merchant or the restaurant. But you can just use your US dollar coin. So there's some convenience in it. I'm not quite sure that's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but doesn't JP Morgan have a lot of physical silver Chicago? No, that story, I don't know why people believe that at all. I'm not even going to go through that. It's amazing how many people believe that story. I'm not even going to refute it. I'm going to ask somebody to prove it to me, and I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, Rad. How will Facebook remain compliant is beyond me. Money laundering will have to do KYC everyone. Yeah, and they will. You got to remember, Rad, Facebook already KYCs everyone as it is. They know exactly who you are, what you do. And that's the whole concept. That's why Facebook coin is a danger to liberty. I mean, Facebook coin is global coin. That is the global currency. One issuer. People, if you want to use the biblical mark of the beast, you can use it there too. You're gonna, if that's what everyone uses, you're gonna need permission to use Facebook coin. I don't know why people say that of Bitcoin. That's the stupidest thing ever. If you read the book of the Bible, it talks about needing permission to transact and must have the mark. Bitcoin, there's nobody to make you use it. It's Facebook that can make you use something. I don't like to think of these things in biblical terms anyway, but it's a stupid way of looking at it to say Bitcoin is the mark of the beast. No, you're not forced to use Bitcoin. You can transact without Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the ultimate voluntary coin. No one makes you use Bitcoin. But if all merchants are on Facebook coin and all merchants and Facebook takes over more companies and does, in a sense, what Rakuten or whatever the name of that company is in Japan, has a bank, has a social media site, has an e-commerce platform, essentially, and a social media platform, then you almost are kind of stuck and you have to use the Facebook coin. So I don't like the Facebook coin at all. Roger would rather have a MySpace coin. Yes. All right. Well, I think that's about it for tonight. I want to thank everyone for joining me. Bernie, you want to take care of the countdown? Sure. Now, I want to say a couple of words about Elizabeth Warren. No, not tonight, Bernie. No. Well, the thing about Elizabeth Warren, people are calling her Pocahontas. And I think, Bernie, the countdown. All right. So, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1%, 0. Have a good night. Have a good night, Bernie. Good night, Bernie. Good night, everyone.